This man is locked and call meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, this is our regular May 26th, 2026. Mr. Meeting.
I have no additions or corrections to the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
And I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Our consent agenda, we have the minutes from our May 12th meeting, our commissioner warrants, $155,106.55. Auditor warrants from 515 and 522, and hospital warrants $650,080.26.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nick.
Good morning. Right, first up for me, just wanted to give you a quick little construction update. The overlays, which are mainly in the Edgerton area, the pavement's done. Got a couple little spots that need to be fixed up, and then we gotta do the striping and shouldering yet, but for the most part, that's taken care of, so.
Are you gonna do the shoulder yourself?
A little bit of it we are. We're gonna do Trotsky ourselves. Not a lot of quantity, and the bid was really, really high for them to move all their equipment over there and do it, so we can stop. So. But, the contractor will take care of the stuff around Edgerton, so. I think they do all of it anyway. There might be a little bit that we do, but kind of. Then the County Road 25 project, the base work is done on the road and they're out putting gravel on it right now. And our seal coats, last we heard, we're gonna start today, so, last time they've done it, they leave Morris in the morning and they get here. That takes and they get rolling, so. We might see those guys buzzing around next few days. Next for me, do we want to bid July through December fuel again, and if so, what date would you like to have that?
The last time it was a very wise move to buy gas ahead of time.
Yes, it was.
Is it gonna be next time?
I don't know, that's why I asked you guys every time. I don't have that crystal ball.
What's the other option? Do we just do a month at a time?
Whenever we need a tanker, we would just
Or
call it,
just pay the tanker?
just call our normal suppliers and have them give us a bid that day.
For a while to see or not, or?
I think it's still too bad, it's just gonna see.
Don't know what it's gonna do.
Right,
Okay,
but,
I think you can reject them all too if you didn't like that.
Oh, sure, okay.
But like Doug was saying, we've done that before, like, I would say we need a tanker diesel, we just call our. I think we just called our local suppliers, I think there's 3 of them, and they bid us a tanker. Just call back whoever's the low bid that day and say, yeah, they're coming, so.
So I guess the only downside would be if we do commit to a large purchase, then if the prices do come down.
We're stuck with it.
Yeah, so the negative side of going month to month would be that it just keeps going up.
Correct.
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like it's gonna go up. I don't have a crystal ball,
I kind of have that sense as well too, that things are gonna stabilize.
Yeah.
well, I don't know if it's gonna go down either.
Well, but
It will, it's not,
yeah,
not a big time, not.
do we need to take specific action?
Set a date for the bid opening.
If you want a bid opening, we'll need a date, otherwise,
Let's go once a month.
just tell me to. It's not even month to month, it's just as needed.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it might last, what, 3 months? 4
Right.
months, the tank?
Good.
The quantity we got now, yep. And then if we get down to that point, we could always take bids at that point if we wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if it went way down rather quickly, if you wanted to bid out the. Remaining fuel for that 6-month period, we could, but it just, there's only a few tankers. You get in 6 months, so. he might only be bidding out one tanker for the future, so I'm just working.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, for now, we just do tanker as needed.
I'll support that.
Yeah,
That's why I invited you.
I think that sounds very wise.
Okay. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries.
I'll include diesel and gasoline.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. that's
Yeah, I
what we-
better back up a bit, you know, you got outline shots.
Yeah.
Those aren't gonna be a tanker,
Right,
you know that.
yeah, but we would do the same
But
thing
just
with them,
as-
just would be running out,
Yeah.
yeah, we would. Just call all of our local suppliers and.
Yeah.
Okay. Then last up for me, I think you got a copy of the annual report in your packet. You know, that's a lot to look at. But if anybody have any questions on it so far, otherwise I'll probably put it on the agenda again for next month and. For the next meeting, and I'll kind of be ready to try to answer something.
I appreciate the work that went into this. This is
Yep.
good for us to see.
Yep, I'll pass that on to Neil, that's, she does that, not me. Yeah, yeah, I'm not the guy to answer the specific questions,
Bring her along, except.
I offered her to come with, but she really wanted to do something late, I mean, I've got notes all over in mine, questions I had, thinking maybe I'd get lucky and you'd ask me one of the ones I researched, but nope, her and Jamie do that, that's a lot of work, and I'll give you credit for that, so.
Thank you for us.
Yeah, will do, will do. All with that being said, any other questions for me? Otherwise, that's all I have.
Update on County Road 23, it looks like making good progress.
25.
25.
Yep, the dirt grade's done. They're putting gravel on it today, so. Yep. Coming along nicely, so. All right, any other questions? No. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Well. So.
I have a couple items here today. We have a new printer. We want to purchase for the treasurer's office. We've been on a lease since 2019. We've got our money out of it for a year and a few months past the end of the lease. So now it's end of life on the machine. Won't be parts, so we won't. But it's time to replace it. Got a couple of quotes, another lease from one source. They were happy to provide that right away. We brought it the last time. But looking through everything, better deal right now is going to be with the Kia Sarah from Century. This will be similar to the one we just did at last December at Government Center Southwest. This is in budget for this year.
Does the government center Southwest like theirs? Haven't heard any complaints?
Well,
That's what.
I think things are new, you know, buttons are in different spots. They'll come around. Every year it's the whole.
Didn't we have a little bit of surprise with that one out there with the number of color prints that we're doing, was there something?
Yeah, that was on the previous printers, that right, yep. We're accounting for the prints a little bit differently, right? We're tracking that a lot more closely by department versus.
Because that last one was just on awareness of the volume they were printing, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the purchase of Kia Sarah.
I will second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. The next one is the big one, the new phone system. So this will entail new handsets on everything. So last December, the state said, hey, we're gonna get out of the telephone business. What? We've been with them for about 10 years or 11 years right now. And then they kind of backed off on that and said, well, we're gonna kind of keep it going, but we're gonna port everybody over to either Teams calling or over to WebEx call. Having been on several of those kind of meeting calls like that, I'm not any fan of that. The quality of service with that kind of connection is just not there. So what this proposal is to move us to Cinch, who has been our dial tone provider through the state for the last 10 years. Now we'll just be paying Cinch versus paying the state and not having one pay Cinch. New phone systems are quite a bit different. This will be able to manage just like we do with the Cisco ones, but we'll be managing this through their system. The brand they prefer is Yealink. And it's feature rich, just like all the different call plans or forwarding or voicemail, whatever they want or users want. And this allows the use of a soft phone too, so you can port it to just a headset and run it through your computer. For now, we'll replace all the headsets or handsets at all the destinations where we have them right now. That's really about it. There's cost saving too of about $3 a line over what the state was charging us.
One question I would have, that reliability. I know at the hospital phone system we have there, we've had interruptions quite often. And I don't think we've been quite as impacted here as what they have. So with this new system, are we gonna have greater propensity for outages?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. We're dependent, it's VoIP too, so we're dependent on our internet.
Yeah.
To make this work. Cinch, or they've had several names over there, they're the largest dial tone provider in the US. So they know what they're doing, been around for a long time too.
The new technology is terrific. Like I said, all the functions and so forth are nice, but sometimes it seems like the more intricate they are, the more susceptible they are.
Could be, yeah. User training helps a lot. Navigate the pitfalls that there.
So your specific recommendation is
To go with the Cinch contract, there's no license fee with them versus with the state at license fees on top of it. When we bought the original one in 2014, 15, or I think 14, we had to pay $48,000 in licensing fees just to have phones, and then buy the hardware on top of it. Right here, the hardware comes with, or there is no license.
and at that time, that 48,000 was a one-time initiation fee,
One time.
and it was good for 10 years.
Well, it was good till now it's done.
Yeah. So again, rhetorical question: how long will this system last?
For 10 years again.
Yeah.
I'll be retired by then, so.
I understand the need for upgrading the technology, but I gotta be honest, it drives me a little nuts sometimes. The dollar figures just are astronomical.
They are.
Do we have a choice?
We don't, no.
At least it's less than half the cost of last time.
With that information, that means that I will begrudgingly that we go ahead and purchase the Finch system because we have no choice.
Move forward.
Second.
Okay, second, any discussion?
Just to verify, Bill, is this the 23/5/29/46?
Correct, 23, 29, 46. And it could end up being just a hair less than that, depends on the labor cost of the professional service.
And Is there annual fees associated with that as well too?
There's not, there's gonna be a monthly fee that we pay. It's hardware until it's done and then we'll just buy replacements.
That's almost unheard of today.
What's our estimated monthly fee per line?
Is $22.
22.
And we don't have excess of lines that we're not necessarily utilizing, do we?
We don't.
No.
Any other questions? That, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Morning. I'm Elizabeth Hoffman, and I think I've spoken with all of you before, so it's nice to see you all again. I'm the director of Plum Creek Library System, and I'm here to give our annual report. So we have sent out a letter to you, and I believe you all have that. On the very top of it is a graphic that our finance administrator put together for me. This is the value of Plum Creek membership. This breaks down what our annual budget is and where our funds go primarily for each of those major functions that we offer as a system. We have a wonderful delivery and shared ILS system where we can deliver materials from all over the state to our residents here in Plum Creek. And it's very quick and efficient, and we've created the opportunity to bring those materials in. That's one that everybody really enjoys. You see our truck driving around, kids will come running up to it. It is a lot of fun. Our most visible service that we offer. We also have been focusing on continuing education. We continue to provide opportunities for our member library staff to learn current trends. A couple of weeks ago, we started a group to work towards strategic planning. We all have limited time and budgets, and it's important to think about those resources strategically so that you can make best use of them in your communities. I know that here in Pipestone County, Jody Wacker from the Minders Community Library is taking part in that group. So I look forward to getting a chance to work with her. We also have our arts and cultural heritage funds that bring all sorts of programs and products. And that is a lot of fun. And it's a joy to see those performers in all of our libraries. The one I wanted to focus on today is the ebooks, the digital resources that we offer to our member libraries and to the patrons throughout the 9-county region. Digital resources are a wonderful resource to have. Ebooks and e-audiobooks are very, very popular with our patrons across the region. E-audio in particular is, we just keep seeing that number rise year over year. A lot of people who commute in our area, a lot of people who like to put on their headphones and go out for a walk. I know people who work and listen to an audiobook. It's just a great opportunity for everyone. In the Plum Creek region, in our library system itself, we're concerned about the costs of those materials. Those costs have continued to rise, and currently the big 5 publishers and the support organization that makes it possible for us to provide that service have raised the prices. When we purchase a ebook or an e-audio, it can be between 3 and 6 times the price of what it would be for a patron to purchase that for themselves through, say, Audible or other lending services. Also, one of the big concerns we have is that these are digital resources, and just the same way that when you watch your favorite show on Netflix, it could disappear in a week. We have those licensing and concerns with those ebooks. A lot of our ebook providers restrict us to a certain number of checkouts. So after it's checked out 26 times, you may have to go back and purchase that same title again. So that's something that we are watching and budgeting for. And there's very little we can do about that at this time. However, I am asking that when you put your budget together, that you continue to support our system at $3,250, as we ask of each of the 9 counties. And we ask that you provide that funding that goes into our digital resources. Do you have any questions about those parts of my report.
Ebooks are, explain a little bit more than that, it's not a physical book, but you have a limited number of accesses you can have to it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different models. So some of them are 26 uses, some of them are limited by time frame. You could have it for 12 months. Some of them are more like a subscription where we have unlimited use over a shorter period of time. And it is very challenging to keep up on all the different models that are available.
One of the benefits of ebooks is my grandson listens to his at 1.5 speed. And he can process it that quickly, so he reads a lot that way.
Do you still carry any of the physical digital books like we used to have years ago? Of course, they're on cassettes and then they were on CDs and so forth. Do you still have any of those, or it's all just strictly online now?
We still have CD books and we do have MP3 books as well, so that's an even more compressed format. Some of the libraries carry what's called Playaway, which is like a digital player that you can check out and has a specific book already downloaded to it. But what we're finding is the number of titles being published in that format is decreasing, so we can't get everything that way. It's only available in digital.
I was curious for a cost comparison between the two from the old style where you physically had something versus now dealing with a subscription.
It is a lot more expensive for the subscription base.
It is.
I can't tell you exactly on the audiobooks, but the ebooks, as a comparison, a physical book, if you were to go to Walmart, carries a wonderful selection of books. So you go to Walmart, you pick up your physical book, it might be about $20-$25. We're paying closer to $75 or $80 for that in the digital format.
You talked a bit about the band that goes around. Can you tell people how many miles that thing puts on a year?
Well, it's a lot per year.
It's amazing how many miles that thing gets on.
Yeah, it's about a 500-mile route that it does weekly. So twice a week.
Twice a week.
Yeah, so it's about 1,000 miles a week that we put onto our van. And it's really great that we're able to offer that level of service.
And it's great that you're able to get drivers and stuff too. That's
We have really good drivers. We're very fortunate.
Elizabeth substitute drives when she has to.
I do. I do like to get it. I used to drive delivery, and so for me, it's kind of a nice break to get to go drive the van once every quarter or so. So I really enjoy the county roads. So thank you for all of your work on getting the county roads looking as nice as they do.
If you think about that cost of the vehicle, from the physical to get to the full, obviously with ebooks, you can eliminate that. So is there enough savings there to offset the added cost for the ebooks? Not that you'd ever be able to completely eliminate the hardcover book itself.
So right now, when I look at the two numbers, our delivery of physical materials is also increasing. So we're seeing instead of them crossing and having more people check out ebooks and fewer people check out physical books, more people are becoming aware of our physical collections because of the ebooks.
Oh,
So,
that's a good thing.
yeah, we see about it depends on the year, but this last year it was about a 2% increase on delivered items out to all of our libraries. The other topic that I wanted to talk to you about is our agency agreement. And this is that third paragraph on the page that I sent out to you. Our board has reviewed our agency agreement and has some proposals for changes. In particular, this is to make some changes to fit within state statute and general routine review. I'm sure you're all aware that the school here in Pipestone is no longer connected with the public library. That is still listed as a shared entity in our agency agreement. So that's one area that we'd like to change to have it reflect the actual entity. And we also would like to update our notice period for special board meetings. It's currently set at 2 weeks. We'd like to move that to 5 days, which is the state statute. We'd like to shift the preliminary budget timeline from March to April. We do not have a March meeting, so we would have to call a special meeting to have our preliminary budget reviewed at that time. And we'd like to change our trustee appointment language to provide additional flexibility in selection methods. What we mean by that is, in some of our counties, the library is a county entity and it has only one library board. They may have a county commissioner who serves as an active member of the library board. This doesn't affect Pipestone because you have municipal libraries here in Pipestone County. However, in that case, you cannot have the county commissioner who is on the board serve on our board, and another board member from the library board serve on our board. What we would like to do is change the language so that the board can appoint a member of the public to serve on the Plum Creek board if they have that conflict of interest in their setup. There are 3 counties that we see those conflicts occur occasionally. It's Rock County, Nobles County, and Redwood County.
So we do need to add those library agreement.
I would like to make a motion to approve the new library agreement.
I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second, any further discussions, questions?
Thank you, Elizabeth, for the work you've been doing. She's been reviewing a lot of our stuff. And upgrading it, putting it to the new standard, so.
Yes, 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 yes. Look at it from Johnny. Any other questions? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
We want this today?
You wanna just send it to me later?
I can,
Okay, that would be great.
sure,
Thank
got it.
Michelle.
I don't think they're here yet.
There's no.
So brief update for you for the personnel report. Unfortunately, our IT intern that we hired, ended up rescinding his, acceptance offer. So Bill will be without an IT intern this summer. So unfortunate timing, and Bill decided not to repost for that position. But we have hired a jailer dispatcher, Brooke Jeffords, who will be starting in July, mid to late July. She will be relocating to the area, so a flexible start date, but at the end of July for that. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Rural water, joint powers agreement.
Back your packet to have a copy of the joint powers agreement for Lincoln Pipestone Rural Water to the very end. They're requesting their attorney, requesting a county board to adopt the attached joint powers agreement with the construction project that Lincoln Pipestone Rural Water started in October 2025. This JPA is identical to the JPA that 10 counties approved back in 2025. With underlined, except the bond amount in the attached JPA is $9.8 million rather than $9.9 million, which appears in the first joint powers agreement approved in 2025. So they're sending this off to all of the member counties to have boards adopt the joint powers agreement and authorize signatures. So it looks like their bond amount went down a little bit.
Which shall accept this joint powers agreement with the reduced bond.
Motion second. Any discussion or questions?
Did they get an explanation why they dropped that bond requirement?
We need a bid, then like I say, we think I better.
Yeah, very good townality.
It just states that the geo bonds were the amount of 26,179,000 issued in 3 phases. First phase is 9.9, second phase is 9.8, third is 6,479,000 for a total of 26,179.
Choose little cost savings on their part, it would reduce.
It would appear, yeah. So that's a good thing, yes.
Any other questions? Not, all those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Bond release letter from Stone Ray.
That's actually right ahead of what you just looked at. I was emailed last week from the organization here regarding the cancellation of the bond from the Stone Ray. The project is completely done. And the request is, in order to cancel the bond, we need a bond release letter from the county. They attached the template, which I filled out, sent it back and forth, get everything correct the way they wanted it. They sent it to me due, so at this point, it's just a letter confirming that the bond can be closed to the company that they were working on. Nothing more that the county needs to do. It's an old project, goes back many years, so they're just finishing up with the project. So recommend approval of having me sign the letter and send back to them.
Chair will approve the bond release letters.
Okay,
And I will second.
motion second, any discussion?
The only question I wish that Nick was still here, but obviously we don't have any concerns with any of our roads, so they put daughter up to, so.
No, they're concerned with it.
That's really, yes, it's on the bottom, so the first one.
Correct. The roads are fine, so he was looking at it and so I take care of it. So.
Any other questions? Not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think we can release us until then.
First one to reports.
Oh, no, we don't have a good report. You did a report.
And, oh, that's right, I thought I was going last time, certainly could.
You did your report.
Take a break. I'll get a hold of Casey and see if she can come in early. Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, if you want, but don't want to.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we don't want to.
That's all. My report would go.
You can save it during.
That's right.
Do,
Yeah.
That's all.
Seriously.
Good morning.
All right, Dixie.
Thanks for buzzing up.
Oh, absolutely. It's always good to be running ahead of schedule. I don't know how much you guys have each chance to read through everything, but after meeting with PCMC staff and Dr. Chapa at the last few months, he kind of also requested that the plate is too full at PCMC and our needs as they have evolved, medical direction as you can see, the importance of having a medical director in Minnesota, including the liability and everything. He's kind of requested to step back and certainly he'll always be there for us in a supportive role, and we'll probably keep him on as co-director for a while, but we are seeking to contract with MJM Medical Direction Consortium Services for a medical director in the state of Minnesota for the ambulance service. They're comprised of about 6 or more physicians in the state of Minnesota that are all very well versed in pre-hospital EMS, and the laws and regulations. They stay up to date on what ambulance services are doing in the state, protocols, and I mean, they're
really instrumental and very involved, even if it's remote, but they do come down a few times a year too and help with training. They're just very, they're very well versed in EMS, and that's kind of tough for a lot of, especially critical access hospital physicians when they all wear a million hats of this in their role to try to dedicate time to help us and help us progress and stay on top of things. As you can see, the cost there, we're ALS and we run about 1,000 to 1,050 ambulance calls a year, so, the fee for that is $9,600 a year. And they would also be the medical director for our in-house education program that we do EMT and EMR classes in our pressures, and that's $1,000 a year. And they will subtract the cost of our existing protocol app that we use, which is that Hinkley Medical invoice, which is $2,750 a year. So that leaves us with, I believe it was $7,850, and if we implement it July 1st, it'll be prorated for the year at half of that cost.
Chair will, approve the contract with the medical director.
I'll support that.
Okay,
You have questions, so.
Yes, sir.
Casey, so what do we get then from this contract? They'll be our medical director, so what is all that? entail?
I didn't have a chance to print out what you have in front of you. But they help us develop protocols, they set up our medication ordering because thank you. All of our narcotics and everything have to be ordered through a physician DEA license. So they'll help with that. They help implement our training, they do call review, especially for any significant calls or even those calls where there's, anything questionable or anything on it, they'll go through with us, help us, develop good quality assurance, quality improvement processes. Advocate for us when needed.
And that was probably my biggest question out of advocacy. So if
Yes.
there would be a question about care comes up from a particular call, would it cost us an extra for them to engage with that, or that is part of their obligation?
That is part of their
To
obligation.
stand for us, and explain what the
Yeah.
process is.
Yes, absolutely. And Steve knows too, one of the medical directors personally, Dr. Michael Wilcox, he's been involved with EMS in Minnesota for decades. And I mean, he's taught us that some of our refreshers, they're just fantastic about voicing and being the voice for EMS and whatnot when.
So they will advocate and advise for us in protocols and procedures.
Yes.
You mentioned talking to the narcotics, I assume that you've got protocol for
Yeah.
monitoring as well too, and that is a
Yeah.
product of this.
Absolutely, and they'll review our existing protocols and then other ambulance services they have as well. I mean, they kind of take the good of everything and, what's best for each service and curate it towards, your service and your demographics.
Well, I certainly appreciate what like any place will come in sooner for the service and have given us.
Absolutely, they've been phenomenal for the years.
Or difficult, so. And having had past history with this particular company, the people individually, I think this is a good move. Appreciate it.
And so I think it'll be very helpful and it'll be a relief, I think, for Dr. Chapa and.
Sure. Fresh set eyes and
Yep.
also, again, obviously they do this statewide, so they'll be
Yes.
very current.
Yeah, they have over 100 services on them, so.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. And are you gonna be assigned a person or is it just a?
That I don't know, I'll have to check with, like I said, I believe, there's the Dr. Conrado. I think is what his name is, I think he's the one right now who's going to be reviewing our current protocols and whatnot, and I believe, I will have to double check on this, but I believe we kind of have one sole position who's in charge of it.
Hand it off if they.
Yes, but we have access to all of them. And if you ever look on their website, if you're ever really bored or anything, like they do have some very good information on there and the bios for each of the positions too.
It's nice to have one name at least to go.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so far, like with discussions back and forth, they've been on top of things and responding and whatnot, very prompt, so.
Did they ever engage your ride-alongs with our people as well too?
They do that. I know they will come down here and do in-house training with our people though, and I mean, which is very much appreciated too. Cause that's something our local has not at that time.
Compliance and adherence to policy.
Yes,
You probably got the internal checks where you.
We do.
Do that as well.
we do, and I do believe that they come down too and just, I mean, go through, get a feel for what we have and, you know, check all of our stuff as well and. You know, I'm sure they wanna make sure that, you know, our narcotics are
Yeah.
locked up as required by law and all of that stuff. But
Because,
since
yeah,
there
they're
is so much
professional
liability,
information, Yeah.
Yep.
As well. So
absolutely. Any other question?
This is a big deal. Very important to have, and we've been very fortunate over the last decade to have had Dr. Christensen and Dr. Kassar for two medical directors
Yes.
for, you know, with them over 30+ years, doing, helping us out too.
Yes, and I mean, they were at PCMC for so long too, I mean, this
Right.
huge bit as things evolved both on the hospital side and our side. I mean, we had Dr. Savio for a short time until Dr. Chappa came and whatnot, and it's just, it's too tough for them to be very, you know, very engaged with us.
I think it also. Deserves to be reiterated, again, how fortunate we are as a community that we've got the service that we do have. You look around, you see some of the other counties, some of the other hospitals, they're really struggling, so. We know that it's a financial commitment on our part, but we appreciate the professionalism and also this is just one more leg of that stool as well too, so thank you for this.
Any other questions? Now, we have a motion second, all those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give that back to you.
Thank you.
Are they here?
I don't, he was really not great. No. It's just to move that. Great. Whatever.
Or you want to sit up with kids?
Yeah.
You're welcome. Any comments or anything?
Morning.
Anyway. Thank you for having us today. Appreciate your time and your continued and ongoing support of our program. Jill has asked Lori Luthold to be here today. Lori was kind of one of the main people that helped, was instrumental in getting our programming up and going here in Pipestone County. So, Lori, did you do anything first? Go ahead. Okay. All right. I'll try to keep it short. Yes. Yeah. All right. So, you all got the annual report, correct? Perfect. All right. I just want to briefly go over a few things as far as ACE as an organization. And then we'll kind of focus on its own county. So in 2025, ACE had 3,293 volunteers that actively contributed 344,570 hours of service across 399 different volunteer locations, which is the impact equivalent to more than 165 full-time employees. Notably, we had 137 volunteers that served in multiple counties and 1,543 that served at 2 or more volunteer stations. The cumulative cost per hour of volunteer service in 2025 for all of our volunteers was $2.06 an hour. Breaking that down into Pipestone County and the service that was performed here. Pipestone had 470 volunteers
that served at 41 different volunteer stations, contributing 43,027 hours. Your 2025 financial support of $71,000 helped make that all possible. So looking at it from a return on investment point of view, the county paid $1.65 an hour to generate more than $1.7 million worth of volunteer service. Another way you can look at that is for every dollar that the county invested, which was $71,000 for last year, the volunteers here in Pipestone County produced $24.12 of service and value, community value. So while the financial return on investment is impressive, a social return is equally powerful. Older adults are experiencing improved well-being, reduced isolation, and an increased ability to stay in their own homes longer. Caregivers are being supported through respite and education programs, which are reducing burnout and improving family stability. Communities throughout Pipestone County are strengthened by volunteer involvement, thereby increasing civic engagement, public trust, and local resilience. So these outcomes translate into millions in avoided healthcare and long-term care costs, as well as a significant improvement in the quality of life of the seniors that you and we are all serving. The annual report does kind of break things down into volunteer time value, and I just want to point out that the national value of volunteer time for 2025 was $36.14 an hour. Historically, the Minnesota value has always been better than that. And that is again the case in 2025 where it was $39.80 an hour. So you can kind of look at that in you can take that times the 43,000 hours that Pipestone County had and see that you had I said that it's like 1.7 million in service here in Pipestone County. So I also want to take a moment to thank and recognize Jill and thank you all for your continued support of her in your position as the program manager here in Pipestone County. Her leadership and dedication has been exceptional. In 2025, she enrolled 213 new volunteers, reactivated 2, and had a net gain of volunteers 178. And you can see that when you look at the Pipestone County page in the annual report, the bar graphs there. It's just phenomenal. I can't praise her enough. Great work. She's an outstanding advocate for Pipestone County, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the hard work and for having her lead the way here in Pipestone County for you and for ACE as an organization. Last year I reported that we were facing some serious funding challenges, and unfortunately we're still facing those same challenges. The main one is our federal RSVP grant through AmeriCorps Seniors. Last year, we weren't sure whether we would even have a program or not. I can say that we are still here, but the grant that we should have started April 1st is still sitting in limbo. Our application, we have not heard back on the application yet, and it is a competition year. So quite important. Hopefully we'll hear something by the end of June. But just to give you an idea of the significance of that application, historically, we've been getting around $82,000 every year for that particular grant. The application I submitted was for $567,995. So it's definitely a make or break type of situation for us as far as that volunteer funding goes for our program. So the other application I have out there that we are hoping to hear something on is a behavioral health grant. And that deals with our PEARLS program that we have going on in a couple of counties. That is mental health related services for seniors. And it also, the application also includes some dementia work. And how I did that was the caregivers of people dealing with dementia are dealing with a lot of mental stress, and they need help as well. So that's how I was able to throw that into the application. So I'm hoping that it's significant enough that they feel it warrants, continued support. And that they will grant us the award for that. That would be a 2-year award for $170,000. So. Based on that, I can't stress enough how much we value and support, your continued support, which is critical to sustaining our services. Your investment allows us to maintain current programs, support our volunteers, and avoid service gaps that could increase isolation, health risks, and additional strain and stress on the local service systems. Together, we can ensure that older adults in our region continue to have access to the resources, support, and community connections they need to live safely, independently, and with dignity. Thank you for standing alongside of us and Jill, and as we adapt and grow to meet the evolving needs of our aging population. That's all I've got. Any questions for me? Otherwise, we'll let Jill take it over.
I'm gonna correct you on one thing, Michelle. It has really nothing to do with me. The volunteers do not. It is the heart of Pipestone County and, it really doesn't have anything to do with me. I did write a grant, this year for a social buster for seniors because, winter time is hard on seniors. And so we had 2 different, taken paint and take board games. And I had 20 people at the Pipestone site and 12 people at the Edgerton site. That was one of the things that I was most proud of because we got 32 seniors out to be with people to paint games. They took it home and they played games with a friend, grandchild, whatever after that. The other thing that I'm very proud of is we support 30 caregivers within our county. We have caregiver support group. We have powerful tools for caregivers. We had a class for seniors, for caregivers to bring in technology ideas on how to best keep their care receiver at home longer. And we will be having a 1 hour I can't keep words. Person-centered training for caregivers of care receivers, and that will be on the 5th of the month. So those are the things that I am most proud of because we are helping caregivers take care of themselves because caregiving is hard. What did you want to add?
I just want to say that I'm really proud of Jill and the program that we have in Pipestone County. It is Jill that's making the program so great with all the volunteers, all the different programs. Anytime I have a question, just send out a text or an email or give her a call and she's there and she's got lots of resources and ACE has just been wonderful for Pipestone County. So I'm very proud of that too.
Thank you all for what you're doing, because I know all part of it. It was to do that type of care of grandmother, one of my wife and others years ago, and it's challenging with her.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this is one of my committees that I serve on, and very, very proud and very happy to serve these ladies. They do a terrific job. We just recently had our ACE annual meeting with all of the different county people there as well too. And I know some of the counties that have a difficult time justifying the expenditure. And as you guys recall, we've been out of for a number of years back. How many years we've been back in house? And then 5. 3. And because we weren't part of that process, we were paying actual costs. As soon as you call it budget time, our actual contribution to ACE would be much less than it was before, because now we are part of the grant process. And I know some of the other counties, again, are having a hard time justifying the cost. That's not the case for us. There's no way that we get the value for the dollar getting out of this group or the money we're spending. They're doing a great service for the county. It's very much appreciated. Also, you talked about the volunteers. Just last month, Joe organized the volunteer appreciation meal. We had a Legion and great turnout. You can see all the people that you touch and everybody contributed, and that's very much appreciated as well too. So thank you for the work that you do. Keep up the good work, and I hope some of those other counties reconsider withdrawing, because obviously that would weaken us as a whole. The more numbers, the better. And speaking of numbers, that's where Jill is so diligent in going with various groups and getting it documented. It's not that people are doing more volunteering than they did before. It's just now it's being tracked, it's being documented, so we can show that for the grant process to show the value of what this program does. So thank you for that. And Lori, thank you for helping these two ladies out as well.
And I just want to thank you, Dan, for your support throughout these past 3.5 years, basically, since you guys started looking into us. And we're going to miss having you on our joint powers board. So best of luck to you.
Appreciate that.
What counties are considering?
Is it Lincoln? And Cottonwood are having.
Cottonwood, definitely Lincoln. You know, I was at their board meeting. That was the last Tuesday or the Tuesday before, last Tuesday. And they very much support the program and everything. A couple of them commented they couldn't see not supporting the program, not having the programming, but you know, money's a strong thing. So hopefully we don't get to the point where we have to have them decide whether they want to continue or not. It would be a real loss for the rest of us. So.
Maybe touch on a little bit more too. You did briefly about the whole AmeriCorps for seniors where our grant process goes through. A year ago, you applied for our grant renewal. And if I recall right, we were approved for the grant. And the next week they said, oh, never mind, you changed our mind. And did I not remember that correctly?
No. Let me think here. We had applied for it, and I think it was just very late.
I don't remember the details anymore now. I know it was one of those just a real strange thing.
Many details, yes.
Yes.
So I think the week that we, 2 weeks, the week after the annual meeting, or the week of our last year cycle of that application did finally get approved. It was just extremely delayed, but it did get implemented by the April 1st deadline. But yeah, we were just in limbo, not knowing whether the legislature was going to, what they were going to pass and whether we'd have money or not, or be funded or not.
And one of the big challenges we as board have with that is keeping our good quality employees. Obviously, they're not getting wealthy on this. And as we know, health insurance is a big part of it as well too. And we do have a few little reserves. So when our funding was getting challenged, the choice was, well, we not give our employees rate, or we cut their hours. But if you cut their hours, then they don't qualify for benefits anymore. How can you possibly cut hours of your employees and not get benefits? So the board decides, like, we're board to go ahead and use those reserves, our rainy day fund, to keep our good people there. So we're holding it together, but we're not out of the storm yet by any means.
That doesn't, I want to make this clear though. That doesn't mean that we jump ship.
No.
My volunteers ask me every week, what have we heard about the grant? I say, just keep doing what you're doing.
That's right.
I'll let you know when we're done.
It's obvious your motivation is to help people.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I usually.
Yeah, we'll recess until 10:30 then.
That's the only thing we got about it. Yep.
10:30 to reconvene. If conditional use permit request, Kyle. Morning.
Okay, so from our, since the last meeting, the chair, vice chair of the county board and the chair, vice chair of the planning commission met just to talk things over. I thought it'd be good to get a different perspective from their viewpoint and the board ask questions. So we did have that meeting. And then I did also put together a packet, just a very brief packet. At the last board meeting on 4/28, there were some concerns about property values, wells, health, and then the response from the city of Jasper also. So as far as the property values, I did talk to the assessor. There was an email included with the packet from her talking about property values that she did reach out to several of the other counties, and there are no examples of property values being decreased because of a quarry. Her only comment about economy was, the potential impact of having the quarry there would be a benefit to the county of having more tax revenue. So that was a response for that. As far as the wells, I included a county well index from the Department of Health, just to show proximity of wells within that area. As far as health, I included a air emissions permit that was issued by MPCA to Saponiacs, and that MnSHA requires that to be a permit that's in place for health and other reasons. So I didn't know much, wasn't able to really get much more on health concern from Gus, but that is a required permit that's needed. And then the last thing, the city of Jasper, as most of you know, the city of Jasper stayed neutral on the whole quarry topic.
So that's the response, and you said that you got a response from the city of Jasper, that's the response?
Yes, yep, the response is the same as what was in the newspaper. They voted 3-2 to stay neutral and not have an opinion whether that's supporting or not. And then the last thing that I provided was just it's a map from MnTopo showing the elevations from downstream of where the proposed quarry is, over the hill, through the pond, and then downhill again, going southwest. Just showing you a topographic outline of that. The one interesting thing I found by doing this is that there is 20 feet of separation from the top of the hill to the water level of the quarry to the southeast.
Steve, could you pull up an aerial view of that location, whether you Google Maps or our county's aerial shots? It's nice to be able to get bird's eye view of it.
So with those, I mean, if there's questions, I'm be happy to answer them, but as far as the recommendation from the planning commission, it's still the same as what it was previously. The planning commission is recommending for approval, with conditions that the applicant operate the quarry as proposed. The haul and return roads shall be to the south to the county road. The contractor shall maintain the township road from the pit to the road. Dust control measures shall be implemented on the haul road and on the crushing equipment in the pit. The permit is valid for 10 years with a 5-year compliance certification, a surety of $50,000, and that all other state, federal, and local permits shall be obtained. So that is still the recommendation from the planning commission as previously was recommended.
See, Jake's here. I have a question for you. You want to come? Sure.
Morning.
Yes, I was just curious. I'm still. I wouldn't mind seeing the results of that DNR study yet. Would you be willing to forego the 60-day rule in order to have that DNR study done?
No, it wouldn't be, and the reason it wouldn't be is because part of, this whole application permit is buying the property, currently we don't own the property, we have a purchase agreement on the property contingent on this permit. And the person we have, if it's not looking to wait a year to find out the results. So.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I see that Rob Carlson is here. Rob, would you be willing to come up and speak with us as well?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, be up there now or?
If you would, in response to this comment that you're not willing to wait. Go ahead and state your name, Rob, for everybody.
My name is Robert Carlson. And I come with a couple problems. One is I've sold that other quarry to Vance Walgrave. And I kind of feel bad because if they start quarrying up there, they're gonna drain his up because I know they'll drain it. I quarry down below and when we get heavy rains, that all aims where the creek is. Water comes out of the walls just like shots all over, like garden hose all along there. And my quarry fills up, so if I get an inch and a half of rain, I'm on a business, you know, so I don't know what's gonna happen when they dive right up there. I know what's gonna happen, but.
If I may ask, when you entered into this purchase agreement then, Bonnie, was your intent then for that property to be used as agricultural?
Right, that's what we thought it was gonna be.
You didn't realize it was gonna be used as a quarry?
I had no idea what it was gonna be, no. Real estate people took care of that out in Europe and Sartell or someplace up north. So I don't know, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Now it's not good and not good. A lot of the neighbors that won't even wave at me no more because they not real happy with me. They think it's my idea, but real estate sellers do wherever they can. Sure.
I'm a little bit confused and perhaps you can shed some light on this as well too. I thought at the start of this discussion, you said you had a purchase agreement contingent on this permit. Is that what?
Yep, that's still correct, yeah.
Okay.
And the person that we're working with is the realtor, and the realtor's working with the lawyer, who is a lawyer for
So then the
this
owner,
fella and his.
so the owner wasn't aware of that contingency.
Well, it's on the purchase agreement.
I called a attorney in Duluth that we have that's supposed to be the representative for both our attorneys and will not return my call. I've been doing that for 2 weeks, so I think I did talk to the real estate people and they more or less, he said we can't do nothing to find out what's gonna happen. A lot of the people in Jasper don't think they're gonna get dust all over them down in there because we're right at the edge of town, you know, where our land abuts the town. So I don't know. It's not a good. I can't really say too much about it because I signed a purchase agreement, you know what I mean? So right. I didn't know what it was gonna be now, you know.
Yeah, on this shot we got here, this overhead shot, on the right-hand side, it shows the quarry then, the watering zone. And now, where's your quarry? Can you move the cursor down? Is it down in the very corner? No, I think to the north.
To the north.
You have to go to the north.
He's northwest of that.
Yeah.
Mine is right.
Yeah.
You're talking.
Yeah, yours is to the west, right?
Yep. Right
You
along.
move that cursor
Right
all
along
over, Steve.
Yeah, it's just.
Then up, go up, couple of
It's
feet
just
straight.
like, yeah, it's just like a little pothole that we dug in there over the last 25, 30 years.
Is it right there or is it further to the north?
Right, right along the highway, right?
It's south
I
of
mean,
that.
not the highway, right along the gravel road.
To the left.
Next to the
Yeah. Be to the west of that and.
This one?
But see that it slopes all the way from that quarry
Right there.
up by Vance Walgrave's quarry all the way to my place. It slopes down to the creek.
Right.
Is when you get on the hill, you can look at one and I get that water coming into mine all the way from up there.
Yeah, that's down the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's, you know, yeah, it goes through the ground, no one comes in, it comes out down in the quarry.
Yeah. Cause you're actually getting the soft pipestone out of there, the catamite's coming out of there. Another curiosity I have as well too, how big was the tract of land that you're looking to sell? How many acres is that total?
160.
Okay, and this permit, if I ask, is for 39.5 acres. May I ask why that's such an unusual size?
Just gotta pick a size, I guess, so you gotta have less than 40 acres, or more than 40 acres, it's two different kind of permits. So the kind of permit we're applying for is less than 40 acres.
So when you go over the 40 acre limit, then there's additional requirements put on it.
There's a way bigger permit process to do it, yeah.
And is that bigger permit process entail more things such as the DNR study that we're asking for?
Yeah, it entitles extra permitting, you know, I don't know exactly how many, maybe Kyle knows more of them.
To my knowledge, it's an environmental review worksheet that's required.
Unless the 40 acre quarry is a pretty big quarry, so there's no reason not to apply for a permit, especially if it's only a 10-year permit, there's no. We're gonna gobble through 40 acres of rock in, you know, in 10 years.
I know we discussed other private wells also. So from that shot that where your small pit is at, where you can take pipes on out of, where are wells in that vicinity? Everett's have a well just to the north there, is that correct?
Yeah. You know, the lowest tiles got that, get it.
So on average to the north, there's the big hump, like, well, I guess from this existing hole there where the farmstead is, it's not quite a half mile to the north there. But the elevation of their house, the Everett's house versus the top of the hill is 70 feet higher is the hillside than where their house is, and it's not, so the well is in the water, so. And we're proposing to take 50 feet.
And I see we got some representatives here also from the city of Jasper. The city's water supply, are they on rural water or are they on a well?
Rural water.
You're on rural water. Thank you, Tim.
And the other closest well would be to the east. There's a farmyard to the east there on your maps there, which is about roughly a half mile away also to the east, from the eastern part of where we have the property owner, basically. You know,
It would be kind of nice to get it settled because I got all this land to be rented out. They can't rent it out now until we get a final decision. And it's getting to the time where it's getting too late. The guy said he's gonna have to put in some kind of millet this year because too late for corn or soybeans. So we're right at the edge of nothing, you
The
know.
growing season, yeah.
$20-some thousand if I take a kick. You know,
Are you still interested in selling this property? Seeing how, or are you committed?
sell it,
You still want to sell it?
I want to sell it, but I don't wanna. You know, I don't wanna hurt nobody in the process, my neighbors, I don't want to, you know, that's all I'm interested in. They've been good to me and paid a big price for the corn when he bought it from me, and I hate to see it go dry, and then I don't know what's gonna happen, I know what happens in mine when we get grades and start dynamite, I don't know what's gonna bother us.
Where exactly are you proposing digging this quarry then?
I think it's right in this area, isn't it?
so it'd be the southeast corner of 160 acres there, but pretty much the area we have circled is just east of the farmyard.
No, that wouldn't,
And then,
wouldn't be mine there, would it?
yeah, that would be yours, yeah, where his cursor is.
Right there.
But to the left, you see where all the little dots are in the middle of the field? That's where the rock is exposed, so that's where we would start.
Three,
Right below your cursor there.
south and west a little.
Right here.
Yeah, right in that general area there, I guess.
Could you put a pin there? See?
But there we have circle is that bottom. 39.5 acres, I guess. So pretty much from the farm there.
That program's got the measurement capability where it's got the. Because on the Google program that I use, you put a pin on it and it measures from that to the city limits. And maybe this program's look different, but it looks like it's maybe a quarter mile, half mile at the most.
It's a half mile to the south to get to the pavement, city's west of that, so.
The city limits used to be across from the old dump, which is right across the driveway you're trying to make on that gravel road. That's the city limits way out there. There's a farm inside the city limits. So you're mistaken on where the city limits is at. Unless somebody recertified the whole town, according to what my dad told me. Right across the driveway you're trying to make to the west is the city limits of Jasper, across the gravel road. That is the city limits of Jasper.
40th Avenue, and then it's the west.
Yeah, right across the road he wants to make to go into his quarry. If you go across the gravel road, that is still city limits heading. That's how far the city limits come out. That farm is in the city limits. Where Julia, we know that, so I know where it's.
So again, for clarification, so the quarry itself is going to be,
Pretty much where the cursor is, in that general area there, where all them little dots are, you know?
and what size is that gonna be? Is it gonna be this big? This big?
Well, I can go from the biggest thing. Yeah, everything that's outlined on that drawing,
In the yellow there?
that'd be the whole 10-year, if we get rid of a whole bunch of material there.
So that brings it from here to here, to here, kind of that area there.
It'd be all the way to the east of the property line. And to the south.
Wait, look into the next word, where there is some space. Right.
Yep, city limits where, so screwed up. Makes me think of somewhere else. Oh, man. There's a tree dump going down that road, just past you, that was still in the city limits, Jasper. Right across the road.
Here, I've got, I've not heard, you can answer me before, but, the Jasper vote kind of confuses me. This is what it says, in the event the property is in question is located within 2 miles of a municipality in Pipestone County. A conditional use permit may be granted only after review and recommendation by the governing body of such municipality. But their vote being neutral. I mean, it seems like you would have to say yes or no.
Yeah,
I don't get the neutral part, I don't.
yeah, in fact, they're,
Just fucking killing them here.
yeah.
Why
Mayor
neutral?
Jasper's here as well too, is that correct?
Just right there.
Would you mind explaining to us a little bit what this neutral?
We were told that we could stay neutral. You want me to come up?
Probably for people can hear you.
I think they were misled.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
We checked with your, I think, Domain Sandy, and I said, can we remain neutral? And he said, you guys can do whatever you want. So we remain neutral and we would accept whatever you guys decided.
And just a comment, that kind of spurs back from the original. I mean, we're required to provide notice to the neighbors and to the city, which we did. If the neighbors have concerns, they're welcome to come and express their concerns. If the city has concerns, I treat them kind of the same. Where if I don't hear anything back, I assume that they have no recommendations. So that's where at the last meeting, I said, if the city doesn't give any recommendations, it's assumed that they have no concerns.
That's because they didn't think their voice mattered.
But their confirmation vote was to stay neutral.
Last permission.
Correct.
I disagree with that. Because they don't have an opinion means they're in favor of it. No, it means they don't have an opinion.
They had a vote whether to approve it or not. And they vote, voted no that time.
They didn't approve it.
They
They did not.
They should, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yes. That doesn't mean anything to me, which way you go.
Another thing to just clarify, too, is about a 2 mile area. Steve, could you zoom out enough so that you can see the city limits, the very edge of where Jasper's out? On the Google Earth that I got pulled up and measuring the distance, you measure the distance from here to just the very edge of town. Can you measure with yours?
Is that map's not on there?
That one's not out here. But anyway, from here to the very edge of town is 2,500 feet.
You should be able to measure on there.
Pardon?
You should be able to measure on Google Maps.
Online, I can measure. You just
Oh, I guess I'm just curious, is there a
That's
concern?
my point.
Right,
My point is that 2 mile buffer. We're within a quarter mile or a half mile of town. Depending on where the city limit actually does wind up falling. We are much closer than 2 miles.
the 2 mile was in reference to the noticing the city, that there is no buffer of 2 miles.
How many quarries are in that 2 mile area right now?
One active.
So can I show you on the map where the city limits are, right there? This is what my dad told me, and I believe my dad. I don't know why nobody else knows it, but this is where he's trying to put that road in.
Yeah.
See, I can't tell where you're at now. This is Robinson Farm.
Yeah.
Where's Jeff Bates' farm?
Go south.
Jeff Bates' farm is in the city limits of Jasper. There used to be a tree dump right here, and that's Jasper. He's trying to make the road for his quarry right here. Jasper is right here, not over here like you think, and it's right here. They used to come down the center of this gravel road. There was an old Jasper dump right here. This is city limits of Jasper, way out to this corner, right by the road that you want to call quarry. Right in town, basically.
Certainly within a quarter mile to a half.
Yeah.
I guess my point, Kyle, and then I realized might not be a fair comparison. But if indeed this was a hog confinement, would a hog confinement be able to be built within 2 miles of the city limits?
They would need to get anything within a mile of the city limits would require variance. So they could build it there if they were granted the variance. Anything outside of a mile would be permitted without going through the variance.
And that variance would have to be granted by,
Board of Adjustments, which is a separate 4-member board, separate from the county board and the planning commission.
has this question been brought to them in regards to the quarry?
There is no variance required. As far as the county ordinance, it's a permitted use, provided they go through a conditional use permit for the quarry. So it's just like a gravel pit where a feedlot has a setback of a mile from the city limits. Quarries and gravel pits do not.
I understand that that's the ordinance, but I find it very, very incongruent that a large hog confinement, would be allowed without variance. And that hog confinement in 20 years, whatever, could be reclaimed. You can tear it down, you can fill in the pit, and it can be done. Once a quarry is dug, that quarry is there forever.
Correct. Yep.
You can do the same thing, you can reclaim a quarry just as well as you can tear down buildings. And there's a reclaim plan on the permit. Part of the process is the reclamation part.
Chairman, are you ready for a motion?
Could be.
And we'll have discussion here without a motion on the floor. I make a motion that we approve the planning commission's recommendation of granting the conditional use.
Have a second? We have a second? We have a second. Motion dies for lack of a second.
Let everybody go home. We're done.
Well, we have options. We have to take some action today, for sure.
I did include the 60-day extensions, so we do have till the end of June. If need be, but I did extend the 60-day window another 60 days. And that is our deadline, so
Right.
just be aware of that.
But I mean,
That doesn't help the farmer trying to
no,
rest
but
their.
it's my understanding, we either have to approve this, we have to deny this, or we could order a discretionary EAW. There are three options.
That's my understanding also, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Somebody else make a motion then.
I would like more input if I may. The comment was made, Tyler made a comment that you received no feedback, and nobody had an opinion about this. We got a fairly large group of people here. I'd love to hear public comments. Can we do that? And that's not permissible.
We've already done it, we've done it a couple times. I think we all know what comments are gonna be.
May I ask you guys, have any of you heard a single individual that we've all been contacted by this? I have not had a single individual speak in favor of the story whatsoever, as anybody else.
No, in fact, last couple Tuesdays and Thursdays, my daughter's in Jasper League softball. So I made a point to ask all the parents and grandparents and everybody else there, and nobody was in favor of it.
Well, let's deny it then and go home.
Mr. Chair. Yeah. I'll make a motion that we conduct the EAW, which is an environmental assessment.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
No question.
What all's entailed in that?
Call the question.
I'd like to know what we're voting on. What's all entailed in that? Yes, I realize parliamentary guys, you can call a question. I'd like to know what.
The applicant would have to go through the process of completing an environmental assessment worksheet.
And how long does that take?
It could be, depends on the consultant, 1 to 3 months, it's, to my knowledge, I don't know I've only been through one, that was with the power line north out by John Deere. The company put the EAW together, we published it on the EQB monitor. Did not receive any comments, and then the board took final action of a negative declaration on the EAW. So that's my only experience with an EAW. The ones that we have for feedlots go through MPCA. But I believe the environmental assessment worksheet is 25 pages, give or take approximate, I'm just kind of guessing. And it requires, the discretionary EAW requirement would require the applicant to complete that worksheet, and then the county is the responsible entity to publish it on the monitor.
Want to give us a report on the groundwater effect?
It says, this is a copy of an environmental assessment worksheet, and there's a paragraph, below section 11 that says, for silica sand projects, the EAW must include a hydrogeologic investigation assessing the potential groundwater and surface water effects and geologic conditions. It could create increased risk of potentially significant effects on groundwater and surface water. And then descriptions of water resources and potential effects from the project in EAW item 12 must be consistent with the geology, soils, and topography, landforms, and potential effects described in EAW item 11. And those two sections are about water resources and geology, soils, topography, landforms.
There have been earlier discussions about DNR, the study as well, too, and that part of the study, that'd be a separate one.
It would be a separate one, and I think that would take a longer period of time, but, I would hope that they would still be doing it, because it's interesting.
Mr. Chair, just a comment too, the EAW requirement would only delay action until, so when the EAW, if it was completed, you would have 30 days from the date that it's complete to take action.
Okay.
So we'd be back on the same 60-day timeline that we're currently on.
Right.
Can we do both? If we take action on this motion to do the EAW, can we also request a DNR report as well?
We can, but I don't know if it'd be complete by then.
I don't understand what the urgency for speed is.
Well, because there's a 60-day rule for, from the state. The state's not giving us an option to extend yet. Well, they will let us have 160-day extension, which we've already applied for, and we're in that period now.
And that expires.
End of June.
And Dan, I would have asked for the DNR study, except for the time.
The time period.
What parts are the, what parts are the, of the process are we missing? So we supplied you guys with an awful lot of information on a lot of different aspects, whether it be well water, dust, noise, all kinds of different things. We discussed an awful lot of categories. I don't know what categories we haven't discussed that you're looking for more answers on. I understand getting more surveys and environmental studies and all that stuff, but all that stuff is information that we already presented to you. We can present more of the same information to you, but it'll be the same stuff.
Well, in this report that we received from the planning commission, that in your conclusions, says applicant showed special use will not be detrimental or endanger the public safety, comfort, welfare, property values, and so forth, so on. I don't understand how you came to that conclusion that it would not be detrimental. If I lived in Jasper, I'm half mile away from a new quarry, I would find that detrimental to my property. I don't see how you come up with a conclusion that it would not be.
Yes, sir.
What part of it is detrimental?
Can I make a comment?
Property or-
Mayor, City of Jasper. I just want you guys to be very aware that we also have a very large active quarry within the city limits, LG Everest.
Yeah.
So do take that in account, and I've lived with that quarry for my whole entire life. And, you know, I don't hear any complaints about that quarry down there. We just had a large implosion this week. There was dust, there maybe 5, 6 broken windows. You know, if it would help, we have another, city council meeting coming. Do you want us to go back and try to get a official yes or no vote?
I personally, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, our next city council's been Renee? June 9th. But, just take that in consideration of the very large LG Everest that is very active.
If I'm not mistaken, the LG Everest quarry, they don't crush there, do they? I believe they just saw.
I don't know in time if it will go to crushing.
They have crusher, we've crusher
Yeah,
ourselves.
they have
If
crushed
if I'm
before.
not mistaken, I think you're the only company that's ever crushed there. You crushed there for a short period of time.
And nobody knew we were there.
I know they crush in gels. I don't know, with the expansion now, if they will crush in time, I do not know that. So,
This whole process could close that quarry. Right?
well,
That's existing. That's existing.
If they get involved with the state. That's, what you guys are thinking.
Nobody gives it.
some things we considered too was, we start saying no to these folks. Is that gonna put a bad taste in LG Everest's mouth and say, maybe we have to go too? And we have the potential maybe for a pretty big expansion at LG Everest, so,
That's what they're thinking of when they bought the railroad.
Yeah. Add railway, and we're just, I know we stayed neutral, but I have to feel and I have to look at the economical impacts too of Jasper with these guys coming to town too, but. But that's why we stayed neutral, just to, that we'd accept whatever you did, so.
If you felt that way, why are you up there arguing for it? That doesn't sound good.
But I had I had to break the tie, but. It wasn't a tie.
It was 2-2 when we were at the
But
meeting.
then I break the tie, and
I didn't know you were in football. It didn't.
Since we're making public comment, can we put Katie up here and have a talk?
Well, also, it's.
We've had all the anthons, pro quarry people.
Oh, yeah, right. I was going to.
you know, that's, and I just wanted to tell you my side, and we will go to city council and get if that's what you would prefer.
And I don't see where it's gonna go any good way for the city or modern decision. And they're still burning up our spot.
You don't live there.
You're the heckler, just be quiet.
Timeline,
Well, you don't.
Yeah, you-
don't live
it's
there.
imposed by the state.
I have some interesting comments about the dust quality, if you guys would be interested in hearing that.
I appreciate your thoughts, but I guess to me that I have more questions about the water issues than dust issues at this,
Pertaining to a well or
to either potential groundwater or, yeah, well in bags or.
Yeah. And the effect on neighboring properties.
Mr. Chair. I do have some dust concerns, but I'd ask if she can speak.
Thank you. There have been a lot of comments saying dust is dust, it all contains silica. And I've been wondering, is that gravel road I live on and drive down daily something I should be worried about? So I did a little bit of research. An average gravel road contains anywhere from 5% to 20% respirable silica dust. So when you see that cloud of dust down the road, the dirt of it, you can cough that back up. The silica dust, that sticks in your lungs because it's sharp and it stays there forever. How about that field that's being plowed that has 2 to 20% silica dust? So yes, it does have some danger, but not maybe an extreme amount of danger. A limestone quarry contains almost none at 2% silica. And then if you want to get into the harder stones like granite, that's 20 to 50% silica. So why am I telling you all these numbers? Because I feel it's important that we clear the air on a major piece of misinformation we've all been hearing. Dust is dust and it's all bad for us. What's one more quarry going to hurt? Well, here's the kicker. Sioux Quartzite, in all of its beauty and wonderful hardness, contains a brutal 95% or more silica. Not less than 95%, 95 or more. This is a situation where there's more silica, the faster and more often people become affected by silicosis. Silica is carcinogenic. One interesting place where you'll see an uptick in silicosis is in the manufacture and installation of artificial stone countertops, which also contains 95% silica. This has become such a damaging issue that Australia actually banned the use of silica in any manufacturing of countertops and tiles, and you can't even import it into the country because it's so damaging to people's lungs. The World Health Organization was trying to see silicosis be gone by the year 2030 in all first world countries, and they're actually seeing an uptick in silicosis because of the manufacturing of countertops like that, which is one of the reasons that Australia banned it. That's just one example of how damaging this quarry will be to the close neighbors and to the entire city of Jasper. Thank you.
I guess we do have motion on the floor again.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Repeat the motion, please.
Motion by Doug to do the EAW worksheet.
Who was it?
Supported by Windows.
And supported it.
Mr. Chair, just a comment, it would be my recommendation that you would make the motion read that you're gonna require a discretionary EAW according to the statute.
Yep. Okay.
Because you can't just require it, you're requiring a discretionary.
Right, and that's what
authority.
Statute requires,
Correct.
to use that language.
Repeat that again, Kyle, I'm sorry.
You're passing a discretionary EAW requirement. So we would just want to add discretionary
For the motion.
for the
So
motion.
when we, follow you, I'm sorry,
Your motion was to require or to do an EAW, so your motion should actually read that the county board is requiring a discretionary EAW to the applicant. For the applicant to complete a discretionary EAW.
yeah, correct, okay. I'm okay with that, Steve.
Are you okay? with that?
I am, and also so I'm clear, so then the result of that is, once we receive that study, then we can take that under advisement. That doesn't commit us one way or the other. That's just additional information that we need to make our decision.
Really, the purpose of an EAW is for the applicant to complete the worksheet. You put it out on the EQB monitor, which is a website that through the Environmental Quality Board. And then that allows public response to that worksheet.
And it'll address some of our concerns.
It may or may not, but it allows the public to comment on what's in that worksheet. And then it's the county's obligation to respond to those comments. So it does create another process, but when you say, is it gonna give us what we need? I did give the Luke and Doug copies of the environmental assessment worksheets, and that's what Luke was referring to. So I don't know, Luke, does it answer the questions that you got for concerns?
Maybe, I don't.
It'll give us more information. We need information.
Right.
That was my point. I want more information. And it would be in the candor that you do this study. This seems to be our only option to get a hard.
And is there any other way that we can get information on the draining of Wall Draven's quarry other than a full DNR study? Is there any other hydrologists that we can get information from? We need information to make an informed decision.
We have the DNR area hydrologist at the planning commission meetings. He was also president of the county board.
And if I recall correctly, he said, we don't know.
Correct, and if, just in response to having discussions with the planning commission at the hearings, there was a response from him saying, at the end of the study, you're still not gonna know.
So that's why you put the stipulation of the $50,000 bond in case there was.
The 50,000 was really more reference, and correct me, Dallas, if I'm wrong, but that was more in reference to any potential well impact,
Right.
which would be to the Everett's well to the north.
He also said that survey would take 9 months to a year
Correct.
to water.
And how did you come up with the figure of $50,000? That seems woefully inadequate.
It was unanimously voted by the planning commission as a basis of what it might cost.
I would like to see another zero added at the end of that.
Yeah, because prices went way up for drilling.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
I just figured it came from me to hook up the rural water for that price.
I think it was two times, 25 grand to hook up to our water.
But not to drill through all of the stone to get there.
It doesn't refill.
Well, drill through stones, so they have raw water, they lay it on top of the stone.
Yeah.
No
Or it
water
doesn't-
on that area.
That's us too.
Yeah. Doug's comment, rural water doesn't refill that quarry ball drains.
Okay, if I get back to it, we have a motion and a second to order a discretionary EAW. Is there any more discussion related to it?
All the question.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. So,
More information. The water impact to the quarry, to the pond, to the city. How do we get more information? They said it's gonna take 9 months to a year. Okay,
and we won't have
we don't know.
the luxury of getting that.
And again, there will be no definitive answer because you don't know.
Correct, that was the DNR hydrologist's conclusion, was you aren't gonna know even with studies.
And if there is a deeper quarry dug in the vicinity that it drains this pond, can it ever be reversed?
See, there was water studies done, and Terry Skyberg tried getting a hold of you about the results, and they did find results knowing that everything was all intersected out there. It was done by a group of college people a while back, and my brother tried letting you know about that, but
Yeah, you never called me.
Okay, so it's not like he keeps saying that they won't be able to prove it afterwards. It's already been proven.
Yeah.
In the past.
You have any way of getting us a copy of that report?
I can call Terry Skyberg and have him talk to you. I don't know why he didn't make it.
He didn't call me at all.
I didn't realize that, so. There's been a study done already, and they found that everything was connected.
Otherwise, how are we just the guinea pigs that end up finding out later on due to our ingestion, or what's the alternative?
I guess, through this process, the public will be able to comment through the EQB monitor once it's placed on there, correct?
That's my understanding.
So I
And
guess
it would
that
be
would,
the obligation of the county to respond.
right, but I mean, it'd be the obligation of concerned residents to,
They will be commenting on the worksheet, not,
right.
right,
So I guess you'd have to look through the worksheet when it's posted on the EQB monitor website, which is.
But how do we get that? I don't have a computer. You know.
Somebody's gotta have. a
People,
computer.
we don't know how to do those things.
I know not everyone would know how, but. There's certainly people with computer access that could,
Even though it's out there, I mean, you don't even know.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to be clear on my end, just, who's doing the EW worksheet, who completes that? State?
it is,
Sorry,
the county is the responsible governmental unit, so it's the county's responsibility to do the worksheet. Our ordinance puts that burden and the costs back on the applicant. So it is the county doing the worksheet. You realize that,
That would be your department, I presume, or with,
or we can hire a consultant to charge that to the applicant also.
okay?
So we have
Just wanted to be clear who's
options,
doing what here.
but currently it would be the applicant's burden to complete the worksheet. The county would review the worksheet after it's completed by the applicant for completeness. Like I said, it is the county's worksheet. And then from there you publish it. So it's. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Mr. Chair, I mean, I've got another question for Rob, again, too, in regards to this purchase agreement. Rob, could you come back up and?
Sure.
So is there a expiration date on your existing purchase agreement?
believe there is, yes. I think, I'm not positive on it, I've heard not swear to that. Not sure what, I'm sure there's.
But I do find it very interesting what you stated earlier, that you did not know that their intent was to put a quarry there. And that you're having,
I had no idea what. I don't talk with real estate people, they sell it, you don't know what's going on, and. Yeah,
I'm puzzled by
and
that.
and if you don't approve it, then I lost 20-some thousand in rent.
Yeah.
One way or another, you know. Somewhere. Something's gotta be done, you know, just gotta keep going on, you know.
No, I agree, we gotta get this resolved for all interested parties, but also keep in mind that it's
Yeah,
more than just,
I realize these people are trying to do a business too, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're right at the edge of town there, I mean. The other quarry down there, they don't dynamite, they just cut it in chunks and make doors out of it, little squares for
They slide
tile and everything like that, they're not a blasting mine, so you get nothing out of there, that's good. And they can't be taken away because they're grandfathered in, you can't take it away.
it's been there since 1800s.
So I.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other business we'll take up today?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Second, voting. That's Chris, thank you.
Discretionary. Okay, it is, 40, 44 again.